Back again, everyone. It's your host, the G-Man, as we continue with our 2016 NBA Draft Preview. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the bigs that are available. Now, previously, you would hear me break down centers, power forwards, small forwards, etc., but I think the NBA has morphed into a positionless basketball as much as possible. So you really have big guys who can play on the block, wings who can play out on and shoot. Now, there is some crossover between the big wings and you have the stretch fours and such, and then we have point guards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down each position, the top 8 to 10, because I don't think there's 10 point guards, and run through by position for you. I already gave you the top 10 overall if you listened. So without further ado, let's start with the top 10 bigs. Number 10 is Deonta Davis from Michigan State. I'll be the first to admit I don't love him. He didn't put up huge numbers in college. That's understandable. He played at Michigan State. They don't really ask them to do a lot of that. They also had some senior leadership. But he's got a lot of skills. I think he's a very underdeveloped offensive player. So if he can develop, that's great. I have a lot of questions. Number 9 is Zach Augusta from Notre Dame, or Zach August. He looks like he is a sloppy, out-of-shape player. He is not. He is a beast around the basket. He plays beneath the rim because he just doesn't have that big style to play above the rim, but he does a hell of a job. I'm not a Golden Domer by any stretch, but he'll hit the gym. He has good hands. He finishes well. He actually plays decent defense, and he's a hell of a rebounder. So that's my number 9 big. Number 8 is Marquese Chriss. He's the best big you've never heard of. He didn't play for a juggernaut team, but they're going to wind up with 2 guys in the top 15 draft out of Washington. He does a little bit of everything you need. He even has a little bit of an outside shot, and he is flying up draft boards. That always scares me when guys rocking up draft boards after there's no more games being played, but I think people look at his skill set and they just can't resist. He reminds me of a more athletic Jared Sullinger, if you talk about who he relates to in the NBA. Number 7 is Kyle Wiltshire. Now, this is about as loose a definition of big as you can go with. He's big because he's almost 7 foot tall. He's not a true big, but he's a stretch 4. He has the best outside shot of all the bigs. He will get bodied up defensively. There's no question about it. He's going to struggle on that side of the ball. He's not overly athletic. He feels like he's been in college for 15 years as well because he switched from Kentucky to the Zags, but he can really shoot it. Because of his sheer size, he'll also be able to get you 6-7 rebounds a game. He reminds me of Frank Kaminsky. Bryce Johnson from North Carolina is number 6. I don't know why everyone isn't talking about him. They're talking about he isn't projected as well at the next level, and I ask why. He can jump out of the building. He rebounds and blocks shots around the rim. He knows his limits. He doesn't try to be a guy who shoots 25 shots a game. He did a hell of a job for them, and he's a defensive stalwart. I think in this league, with a lot of run and gun styles playing a smaller lineup, he can be a glue guy for a lot of years to come. He reminds me of Nerlens Noel with a little bit better offensive game, so I think he's going to be a star, or starter at the very least. Number 5 is Ben Bentil from Providence. Another guy, not really a true big, more of a 3-4, stretch 4 type. Has an excellent outside shot as well. Big, strong guy who totally refined and changed his game and his body. When he first started, he had a great shot. They could only play him for 3 minutes at a stretch because he was so out of shape. He worked hard. Now he looks like an Adonis. He is going to be a decent player in this league for a long time just for his shot and for his will. He reminds me like an Ersan Ilyasova from Milwaukee. I think Bentil has a shot to be pretty good. Number 4 is A.J. Hammonds. On ability alone, he gets ranked this high. I just don't know. He could dominate games sometimes, both on the offensive and defensive side. He's an excellent rebounder and a shot blocker. Good hands around the basket. Sounds like you're talking about the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And he's strong as an ox. The biggest problem with him is it only happened about half the time that he played that way. If someone can harness that energy, and I know every coach always thinks they can, this guy could be an absolute stud along the lines of a Marc Gasol, who I have a lot of respect for more than most people. Number 3 is Diamond Stone. Really, really young kid with loads of upside potential. He already shown a bunch of it. He's only going to get better. He was really good in college. They didn't use him as a primary option, but he did everything that was asked for him. He blocked shots. My barometer for young big men is always how well they shoot foul shots. He actually does a really nice job as a soft touch, block shots, physically imposing, only going to get better. He is also a good on-the-ball defender and can block shots off the ball. Reminds you of like a Jonas Valanciunas, and if anybody watched the playoffs, you know how well he played. Number 2 is Jacob Podol out of Utah. He's more of a traditional big man, strong with good low post moves, not a real mobile guy. He's not going to be a defensive force. He's real slow-footed, but he'll be a traditional post player with the ability to post you up like an Al Jefferson or a Jahlil Okafor type. I have him going to Orlando on my mock draft. My only concern is they already have one of these guys in Vucevic, but I do think Podol can be a low block help for many, many years. The number 1 overall is not what you would think, and that's Domantas Sabonis. You hear the name, you want to compare him to a daddy right away. It's not a good comparison. His dad, by the time he came to the NBA, was big, thick, strong-legged, but could shoot the three. Domantas Sabonis is big, he's lean, he has really good hands, he's good on the block, he's an excellent rebounder, he's a real skilled passer, but he just doesn't have that outside shot. This isn't the best group of bigs in the world, but I do think Sabonis is the best of them. So there you have it. There's your top 10 bigs available in the NBA draft. Not a bumper crop of bigs, but I do think there's some guys that can help a team. And with your 2016 overview of the bigs in the NBA draft, I'm your host, the G-Man, and I am out.